Hello, everybody. Welcome to another segment of My Child, My Voice, Kid Connection. I am so excited everybody's here today because today, not only that I'm excited that everybody's here for Kid Connection, but also we are celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month. I'd like to thank everybody for joining us today. This show is broadcasted by the National Parents Union. My name is Miss Wendy, and I'm so excited to just kick off our Hispanic Heritage Month, which is celebrated from September 15th to October 15th. And in honor of this month, for the Hispanic Heritage Month, we are going to have the book of the day, which is Come Sing With Me, the story of Selena Quintanilla by Diana Lopez. And our craft for the day is going to be the paper flower craft that I'm holding right here. And I'm so excited to talk about our book of the day, Come Sing With Me, because Selena Quintanilla, she is what we call here in Texas our reina. She is the queen of Tejano music here in Texas. So I'm so excited to talk about her history and her story and to learn about all of this, especially during Hispanic Heritage Month, because this is the time we learn a lot more. And we're going to talk about that a little bit later. So I am going to hide myself for a little bit and I'm going to talk about the book and we're going to do the read along. I'm just going to move real quick so that you can see um, the book here. And we're going to read Sing With Me, the story of Selena Quintanilla. And here in Texas, we actually know her as Selena Quintanilla-Perez. But the story is written by Diana Lopez, illustrated by Teresa Martinez. And so we are going to start our story today. And look at these beautiful, beautiful things that are singing here. We'll talk about it more. These are all of her songs that you can see here. Viri Viri Bamba, Yo Hice Como la Flor. We're going to talk more about that. Again, it is Sing With Me, the story of Selena Quintanilla. Selena Quintanilla rolled a tortilla and lifted it to her mouth, only to use it as a microphone. She turned everything into a microphone: spoons, crayons, toothbrushes, but instead of scolding her, her parents hummed along with her brother and sister and tapped their feet. The Quintanillas were always together, siempre juntos, and they were always united by music. One day her father announced, "We should start a band." Selena jumped up and down. What a great idea! When Selena was 9, her father set up a stage and their family restaurant. Papel picado hung from the ceiling, and the scent of caldo and charo beans filled the air. No one can miss this giant banner with the band's new name, Selena y los Dinos. Selena and her family began rehearsing their favorite pop, rock, and country songs at their home in Lake Jackson, Texas. Selena sang while her brother A.B. plucked a bass guitar and her sister Suzette tapped the drums. At first, Selena felt very nervous about singing for strangers, but as soon as she stepped on stage, she realized music quickly turned strangers into friends. When she sang Feliz Cumpleaños to customers celebrating their birthday, she said, "Sing with me." The waitress, cooks, and customers joined her, their voices united by songs. Whether the restaurant was almost empty or so full that people had to wait for seats, Selena always sang her best. The recession of the early 1980s hit, and no one had money to eat at Papayon's. Soon the Quintanillas lost their restaurants and their home. Selena was 10 when they drove 3 hours south to Corpus Christi, where they would stay with their relatives until they could support themselves again. With all this, now city be like, Selena wondered. She opened the window, tasting the salty air from the Gulf of Mexico. As they crossed the harbor bridge, Selena began to sing, and Avi and Suzette didn't have their instruments, but they clapped out rhythms. Then their mother get loose at most glorious, and their father cheered, Ole! They used their last dollar to buy a bus, which they named Big Bertha, and drove to Houston, Laredo, McAllen, all over the place like Del Rio and Fear to perform. The songs they sang at weddings, quinceañeras, and rodeos, sometimes for as little as $100. Times were tough, but at least they were together. While they traveled through Texas, the audience made requests. Selena loved to sing their favorites, but when they were asked for Tejano songs, she found herself apologizing because she couldn't speak Spanish. Why didn't you teach me? Selena asked her parents. They were quiet for a moment. Then her father said, when you were growing up, we got punished if we spoke Spanish in school. That's why we taught you only English. At the time, it was the language of schooling and success. Selena understood that her parents thought that they were helping her, but she really wanted this connection with her audience. I am going to learn Spanish, she decided, so more people can sing along. At first, Selena learned the songs poetically, sounding out the words, rolling her R's, and remembering that H is silent. She kept reminding herself. After she learned a few songs in Spanish, her family booked a gig at a Tejano music festival. Selena learned other musicians. She loved the other, sorry about that. Selena loved the other musicians, bolo ties, cowboy hats, and Western boots. She was so excited to join them, but even though she said hola with a silent H, they waved her off. No room for girls in Tejano music world, they said. For a tiny moment, Selena wanted to give up, but then she heard the music and the footbeats of dancing couples. It's up to me, she realized. I have to make room. The main stage was for popular bands, so she went to a side stage to perform. She put her heart and soul into each Tejano song. Even when she didn't understand all the Spanish words she was saying, when she finished, she said, Muchas gracias, and the audience cheered. At 12, she recorded her first song, Se acabó que amor, in a room by herself. Selena missed the company of a band and audience. How could she sing without people to dance and hum along? She closed her eyes, tried to put feeling into music. She repeated the Spanish pronunciation to herself and focused on the song's meaning. But singing in a studio was much different than in front of a live audience. Then she remembered all of the mothers, fathers, brothers, sisters, abuelos who went to her concert. She wasn't singing for the producers behind the window. She was singing for families and friends, familias y amigos. Canta conmigo, she said, silently repeating, imagining the day when they all hear her recording and sing along. Soon, Selena recorded more songs, many written by A.B., who mixed rock, country, and pop for her unique Tejano sound. Suzette kept playing the drums, and between gigs, she and Selena studied fashion in magazines, designing new clothes, trying different hairstyles. Selena didn't buy her stage outfits. She made them from her mother's. Um, She made them with her mother and her sister's help. Meanwhile, Big Bertha took them to stages around the US and Mexico. Crowds of 20 turned into crowds of hundreds. On the road, Selena kept studying Spanish, the words like secret codes she unlocked, one by one. Most of the time, she still thought in English, but sometimes the Spanish words came first. In 1986, when Selena was only 15 years old, she won a Tejano Music Award. She won the award again in 1987, then the next year and the next year. Every time she accepted a trophy, she remembered all the people she had met through her music and her family and the Quintanillas who were always by her side. She kept recording, performing, and sewing. She opened a fashion boutique to sell her clothes. She fell in love and got married. On February 26, 1995, at the Astrodome in Houston, that's where we live, Selena circled the area on a horse-drawn carriage. She wore her own purple pantsuit that she designed. As she waved the crowd, she thought of performances at the family dining table, at Papa Yoyo's, at the dance hall and rodeos. How different from the Astrodome, and yet how much the same. Look at this crowd. This is the Astrodome here in Houston. And to be honest, Miss Wendy was very lucky to attend and watch Miss Selena sing. Her fans cheered when she hopped on the stage. More than 60,000 had gotten tickets to her show. Bidi bidi bamba, Selena sang. Then she held the mic to the crowd. Bidi bidi bamba, they repeated. Thousands of families and friends, their heartbeats and their voices united by her song. The concert ended many years ago, but her fans are still singing. Every time they hear her voice, they all hear her joyful shouting, Canta conmigo. And this is the end of our story time. What I love about this book is at the end it has the author's note. And she writes on here, which I'm going to read to you. She says, like me, Selena lived in Corpus Christi, Texas. So my first step when writing this book was to drive around her neighborhood, eventually making my way to the Selena Museum, which houses a collection of her outfits, her awards, and even her little egg collection. I also read and watched interviews of her families and friends from sources like the Biography Channel and the April 2010 issue of the Texas Monthly. Commemorative issues of The People and Newsweek provided many images and much information about her career, but mostly I watched videos of Selena in action. I took some creative licenses when it came to imagining Selena using a tortilla as a microphone or studying late into the night. It's impossible to know exactly what she was thinking or hearing past conversations with her family. But for scenes like when she first sees Corpus Christi or what she asked parents about teaching her Spanish, I did my best to imagine what she thought and what she said by using information from interviews and from my own similar experiences. Selena Quintanilla was born on April 16, 1971. Music was in her blood because her father, Abraham, had always dreamed of being a well-known musician. As a young man, he joined a group called Los Dinos, but they struggled to find their place. The Mexican audience rejected them because they sang in English, and then the white audience rejected them because they were too brown. But Abraham never stopped loving music, and he passed his love to his family. With her father's guidance and her sister and brother by her side, Selena started performing when she was 9. She would go on to win a total of 36 Tejano Music Awards. She had just recorded pop songs in English, including the Billboard hits Dreaming of You. When she was killed on March 31st, 1995, 1 month after a famous concert at the Astrodome, she was only 23. Thousands attended a candlelight vigil in her honor. The Texas governor at the time, George W. Bush, officially designated April 16th as Selena Day. People's Magazine published a commemorative issue that sold out within a week. Gregory Nevada wrote and directed a blockbuster film about her, and the convention center in Corpus Christi named its theater Selena Auditorium. Over the years, I have met many young people inspired by her example. We talk about her talent, her struggles, but mostly about her kindness and humanity. Selena never forgot her roots. She ate at local restaurants and lived in a modest neighborhood. She made her own clothes. She continually reminds us that we all have the potential, no matter how humble our beginnings. We write messages. The world misses your beautiful smile, your joy, and especially your talent. You're an inspiration to always be yourself. You showed us that we can break down barriers and do whatever we dream. We leave these notes besides white roses. We hum our favorite songs. We celebrate her life. And then these are her albums that you see here, which is a great author's story. And she wrote a little note here to Susie and every single fan that will sing with Selena forever. Sorry, I got a little choked up. Selena, I was there when I saw her in the Astrodome, so it still affects me even to this day. And I am going to move everything back so that we can start our craft of the day. Just give me a few minutes and we can do more as we go. I hope you really have enjoyed this book about Selena. And I'm going to come back on. Hi, everybody. And I'm going to stop sharing. I'm back. I'm sorry. I got a little teary-eyed when it comes to talking about Selena. Okay, so now we're going to start our craft. So I'm going to move my camera down so you can do this beautiful craft. And the reason why I did the flowers today is, remember the white rose we were talking about? I always remember the red rose or the yellow rose of Texas, or even the red rose. But a lot of people remember the white rose for her. So this is why I think it's a great way to remember her with the flowers. So I'm going to bring my camera down and we're going to start our craft of the day. Okay, put this to the side. And what you're going to need today is you're going to need some construction paper. Doesn't matter what color. If you have pink, red, yellow, white, black, whatever color you have, use that. If you don't have construction paper, you can always use either color paper or even get some notebook paper and then just color it to make it whatever color you would like to do. We are going to need some pipe cleaner. Here is a green one we're going to need for the stem and a yellow one. And this one is short because I'm going to show you why we cut this one. And then you're going to need a pencil. You're going to need some scissors, some tape, and that's it that you're going to need for our craft for the day. So just remember, pencil. Oh, one extra thing. If you have a little marker like this, it'd be good to have, and I'll tell you why. Even a pen. So something kind of small like this that's round. Nothing that has edges like this pencil has. See how it has these octagon edges? So that's another thing you want to add. And to talk about why we do this, it would be helpful to have a ruler. Okay, so I'm going to move everything out so that we can start our craft. And the first thing we're going to do, now I'm going to switch papers here, is, as you can see, I have my handprints. So what we want you to do is, get your hand on your piece of paper and open your hand as wide as you can and trace it on the paper. Mine was a construction paper. I did pink. Do both hands so you can have 2 flowers, or you can just do 1. But remember to open your hand the widest you can be. And if you see that, you missed the line or stuff, guess what? If you do it in pencil, you can erase it and make it a lot smoother. So don't worry about the pencil marks, and we'll talk about that later. Once you have traced, I did this in pink so you are able to see the handprints. Once you've traced your handprint, or if you have adults in the house and you have some trouble, I know when you try to do your right hand, if you're right-handed, it's hard to trace your right hand. Have somebody help you do your right hand so it can be even. And this is where your siblings or the adult in the house or your mom or your dad or your abuelita, which is your grandmother, can help you trace your hand. Once you do that, what you want to do is you want to bring your scissors and start cutting out the handprint on each side. And then what that looks like after you cut it, it's going to look like this. Of course, I did red because I like to remember Selena with the red rose. So I did my hand and I cut out the construction paper, and now you see my little handprint. Let me bring this up a little bit. So I'm going to put my scissors to the side. And I just wanted to talk about the Hispanic Heritage Month while we're getting everything ready. So I'm going to kind of cut out the paper so you can see how this works. Very simple and easy to cut out your handprint. And like I said, if you're having trouble with cutting out your handprint, just make sure to ask an adult in the house, or your mom, your dad, your abuelito, your tío, your tía, whoever's in the house that can help you, even your siblings. I'm going to go around. So Hispanic Heritage Month is actually celebrated from September 15th all the way to October 15th. It's really the National Hispanic Heritage Month, and honoring the cultures and contributions of both Hispanics and Latino Americans. Okay, now the curve is where I go real slow so I don't. Okay. And you see, if you see like here, you're missing there, you can always get your pencil and kind of, like if you see pencil marks here, you can always use the eraser and take the pencils out. Pencil marks. Very simple and easy to do. So back to the Hispanic Heritage Month. The observation started in 1968 as a Hispanic Heritage Week under President Lyndon B. Johnson, and was then expanded by President Ronald Reagan in 1988. So I got to stay straight here. To cover a 30-day period. September 15th is significant. And why is it important September 15th? Probably what you guys are wondering, like why this date? Why not another date? And why expand it all the way to October 15th? Good question. Because it's the anniversary of independence for Latin American countries. And that could be Costa Rica, El Salvador, Guatemala, Honduras, Nicaragua, in addition to Mexico and Chile. I gotta turn. Okay. They celebrate their Independence Day. On September 16th and 18th is basically when they do it. Okay, I got to cut this here. This is where I got to cut a little bit. There we go. To make it a little bit easier. Then we're going to go back into the groove here. All right. And we're cutting. As I was saying, some countries celebrate Dia de la Raza, which is October 12th. And now you see why they expanded the dates from September 15th all the way to October 15th, because of the different countries that they celebrate, their celebrations, right? While so many Latin American and Caribbean countries celebrate the anniversary of their independence on a date outside the 30-day period. So it kind of gives you an idea why, And during this whole month, we are going to talk about books and people and their cultures, especially during the month of October. Towards the end, we're going to talk about Dia de los Muertos, which is a great tradition that we do in our family now. And I say now is because we didn't celebrate this as when we were younger. So it's good to talk about people who have influenced us, people who have made a difference in our world, either today or in the past, who are making changes. there you go. You have this here. And this is the reason why we celebrate the National Hispanic Heritage Month. So I cut this one so you see how that is. So I'm going to put that to the side so we can concentrate on making our flower. Okay. Of course, I did 2 here so you could see. And remember what I was saying, if you see the little marks, like the pencil marks, just go in and erase them. That's why we have them doing there. And you don't have to worry about like, oh my goodness, I had left a mark and I don't want it to show. Well, guess what? You did it in pencil. You can erase those little pencil marks. That's why I told you not to worry about it. You go back in, erase them, and then they disappear. Oops, don't want to bend the little fingers. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to curl the bottom of the hand to shape it like a cone, whether you want to start where your thumb is or you want to start where your pinky, however you want to do it, but you're going to make a cone out of your hand. So, and this where if you need help with an adult, just ask, because sometimes this can be a little tough. I know I had to do this a couple of times myself just to make it a tight cone. And I'll show you in a minute. All I did is roll it. See how I'm rolling? But here's the thing. You want it to be as tight here, even though it's very small. We want it enough to put, and this is how I practice, is where our pipe cleaner can go through. So if you want it tighter, you go on the inside and roll it. And then if you want to check it, all you got to do is bring your pipe cleaner back in and you put it through. Okay, it fits. Great, right? Okay. So this is where your tape comes in. All I did was get a piece of tape, no matter what kind of tape you have, but you do want a clear tape. You want to tape the end and wrap it all the way around so that it will hold the cone together. And it's going to look like this. See, kind of like a flower when it first starts, right? It gets real single and then it starts opening up. That's what our flower is doing here. Okay, if you want to put another piece of tape, you're welcome to put another piece of tape. And like I said, test out your cone and make sure that your pipe cleaner does fit all the way through. Before we start doing anything else with this hand, there's one thing I do want to bring about. I'm going to move my little other hand over here. Is the pipe cleaner. Remember I was saying bringing your ruler over, and you can kind of see where I have a ruler here. You want them to do it at 6 inches. Cut them at 6 inches because it's a really good length. If you don't want to cut your stem, you wanted to keep it long, you're welcome to do that. But for the yellow one, we do want to cut it at 6 inches. And I'll tell you why. The yellow represents the inside of the flower. And I'll show you here. Like this one. Can't see it because it's yellow on yellow. But you see how this represents like the pollen and stuff that's inside the flower. This is the reason why we have the yellow and then the green coming out like this. Okay, so you want to cut your yellow up to like 6 inches. Get your scissors, cut your pipe cleaner as well as this here. Okay, so we're going to put that aside. Now, the next thing you want to do is use that round. Remember I was saying that having like a round pen or marker, a skinny one, and you're going to use this round pencil or marker, mine's a marker, and curl each one of the fingers on the handprint outwards, and I'll show you how to do that. So it's facing me, so do it outward means going like this, and I'm rolling it. I'm not doing it towards the inside of the flower, I'm doing it away from like the cone. So I'm rolling it as tight as I can on the marker, and I'm pressing it at the same time. Once you do that, see how it curls? And you want to continue to do that with each of the fingers. Don't worry if, like mine, there's a little one in there. That is okay. Remember, each flower is different. They bloom different, their petals go different. You just want to make sure you press so they curl. See how that goes? And you keep going until you do all of the fingers all the way through until they curl. And sometimes you got to keep doing it again because like this one didn't curl very well. I'm going to do it on this side. So it will curl. And then remember to press as you're rolling it on the marker or pencil, whatever you have. And the reason why you do that is because you want it to like bend like this, okay? And this one I'm kind of moving this way, and I'm going to roll it on my marker, and I'm going to press and roll at the same time. See how it's rolling back. This one is kind of sticking out, but I moved it this way. I can move it a little bit. So I can't roll it all the way back because it's a shorter. It's my pinky finger. And if it keeps doing it, just keep rolling it back until it actually rolls. And see, it rolled this way. It rolled. And if you want to see it more curled, just keep doing your marker on the construction paper until it actually gets to where you want it. Like, oh, I like it like this, or I want it a little bit more curled. You can curl it back like this and it'll stay. Like this one is not as curly. So you can go over it over and again until you get it to where it's the curl you want. Because we want to show it like the flower, see? And you see I keep going over and over so that make sure that it stays. And there we go. And there's like the flower, okay? And so now you see how it's leaving the folded marks on your paper, and you have like it now it's starting to become more like the flower. And you curl each one of them. And like I said, if you feel like this one is still kind of like, if you feel like you want to bend it more, keep curling it outwards so it looks more like, you know, the flower. And like I said, you can keep curling it. Like I had to do mine a couple of times to make it stay. Like I kept pressing and curling it and curling it so I can get that more of a curl feel, because I felt like it didn't have the curl. Now this is your flower, however you want it to make it look. I had to do it like that. Okay. Now let's start. We're going to put this aside and we're going to bring our pipe cleaners. I'm going to bring the one that I cut. And what we're going to do is you're going to take the yellow pipe cleaner and you're going to bend it in half like this where it's equal. So the best way to do it is put it like this, so like this, and then bend it towards the bottom like this. And it's like that, right? Like a U shape. Okay. And then what you want to do is take your green pipe cleaner and do it like a J. And all I did was kind of bend it like this. And it looks like a hook at the same time. See how it does that? And then what you're going to do is you're going to leave the rest like this. And then on the yellow piece, do the same thing. Do it kind of like a J like this, where it looks like that. Kind of looks like a saxophone. Huh. Take the green pipe cleaner, go like this, and then you want to twist it. See how here? You twist it so that it will stay. See how that stayed there? Okay. Like you pinch it first to shape the green so it can hold tight on the yellow, and then you twist it a little bit tightly so it should hold there like really nice. Then take the longer end of the yellow pipe cleaner and wrap around. So what I did is I made this, see how this bent? I did it like this. I pinched it. And now I'm going to take this longer one and I'm going to wrap it starting from the bottom of the yellow, and I'm going to wrap it around the yellow all the way around. Wrap tightly until you reach the end of your yellow pipe cleaner. And it kind of looks like, this looks like a flower in itself, right? But this is the inside of the flower. And then that's what's going to go in. You're going to poke that in the middle of your flower. So you can look like this, right? Pulling it away so that the green stem is below the flower and the yellow part is in the middle of the flower. Okay. And then you can repeat as long as you want. Now, if you feel like the pipe cleaner, like mine is really tight, the first one I did, my cone wasn't as tight. And so what I had to do is kind of go back and tighten it. Or what I did is I got some more tape and I came around and I taped it to secure it so the pipe cleaner wouldn't go up and down. But I moved this one a little bit up so that you can see the inside of your flower. And then you make as many as you want. And you can see here, I'm going to move this back, but you have your 3 handprint lilies, look really beautiful. And these are all of your handprints, whether it could be yours, your mom's, your dad's, your brother, or your sister's. Don't they look very pretty? And this is my little bouquet. I have the red, I have the yellow, I have the pink. And I'm going to bring this back up. Hi, everybody. And now you have your bouquet of flowers. And I wanted to show a little bit of where you can honor Selena. Of course, I do have a lot of her albums and music, and, that I celebrate her because, I was around when she was, and I love listening to her music to this day. So be inspired on Hispanic Heritage Month. And like I mentioned, I hope you enjoyed our flower of the day as well as our book of the day. I'm going to bring this back up so you can see the book of the day is Come Sing With Me, the story of Selena Quintanilla by Diana Lopez, and as well as our craft of the day, our paper flower craft. And if you would like information on how to make this step-by-step, I'm happy to send that to you. Just email me at wendy@mpunion.org, and I'm happy to send you that craft. And remember to be inspired this month for Hispanic Heritage Month by celebrating from September 15th to October 15th. Stay tuned for another episode of My Child, My Voice Kid Connection show. We will be talking about a lot of different people who have inspired us during the Hispanic Heritage Month. I hope you were inspired by, hearing the songs, or I shouldn't say songs. How about we do play a little music that you can hear in the background with Selena that we were talking about in our show today. So thanks for joining us all. And I hope that you take a chance to really read her story and learn about her, as well as all the other people that we're going to talk about during this month. Thanks, everybody, for joining us. And I hope you enjoyed, and join us again next Monday. I'm sorry, I'm getting into the music. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for watching the My Child, My Voice Kid Connection. See you later. Bye now.